Good evening, everyone. So I have a Barbados Cherry. I guess it gives like, I don't know how many times more vitamin C than an apple. Sorry, than an orange. My bad. So there was a time where I had it on a pot, and I sort of got tired of having, plants in pots. So I decided to plant as many plants as I could, and the rest of them I literally gave them away. In one occasion, my uncle actually had like half of his truck, the bed of his truck, filled with plants that I had given him. But if you're like me and you like plants, you know that planting plants and buying new plants, it doesn't get old. So even now that I don't have any room, I'm still buying new plants. So yeah, so this guy, I am going to dig him up, but all I'm going to do now is shove the shovel around it, because I know I am going to be cutting some roots to the Barbados cherry, to my cherimoya tree, and my Pakistan mulberry. So all I'm going to do is cut some roots by shoving the shovel and then leaving it there. Hopefully it doesn't go too much into a shock or into shock. And then if I see that the leaves are starting to get sad, or they're not doing too happy, I will cut some of the branches off, sort of to help it out, since it no longer has all the roots in it. So hopefully it survives. If it doesn't, no big deal, simply because this is a bad spot. It's being covered by 2 trees, and that was my fault. Normally what I would do, I would just do like a fourth or one side of the plant where I dig down, cut roots, break roots, and then throw the dirt back in and leave it there. And then 2-3 weeks later, sometimes even a month, I would go to another section, and then I would dig, break roots, cut roots all the way down. And then once again, give it a couple weeks to a month until those roots or the wound heals, and then work on another section, and then keep repeating. That way, the sections that I had initially, I guess, cut or dug into would have time to heal, and that way the tree wouldn't go into so much shock of losing so many roots. Now, if it was still like winter time and the tree was somewhat dormant or not really growing, or pushing new growth, it wouldn't be a problem. But now we're in April, and plants are starting to grow, trees are starting to bloom, others give fruit. That's a different story. So I don't know, I'm sort of motivated to just dig everything out right now, see if it works out or not. Why not? I'm just gonna dig it up all at once. I should wait, and I know I should wait. Yeah, I'm motivated right now. I'll just do it. Hopefully it doesn't die on me. All right, so this is what I'm left over with. You can see where there was a root right here and it connected right there, but that belongs to the Pakistan mulberry. I thought this one, the Barbados Cherry, would have roots or bigger roots coming out, but it doesn't look like I did a whole lot of damage. I can see like little ones here or there, and then I didn't see any roots from the cherimoya tree right behind me. So I'm losing sunlight. I think I'm gonna end up burying this hole back up, just so it, you know, the little dirt that it still has by the roots doesn't dry up. And then another day I'll continue digging. All right, so I was supposed to dig this Barbados cherry tree out, you know, a month, maybe 2 months ago. I can't remember, but I just didn't have time and I didn't get to it. So I did cover the dirt back up just to I guess help the roots maintain its environment. But I was gonna dig it up that, you know, the next day, just because it didn't have a lot of, you know, big thick roots growing out of it, but I didn't get to it. So here we go. So I finally have a chance to dig this Barbados cherry tree out. As I was re-digging the dirt out of here, I started to see a lot of roots. I guess you could say radiating from the center. So I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that they belong to the tree or a bush. I don't know exactly where it falls, but I think it's coming from the tree. Over here, I think I accidentally chopped some up, but normally I would have dug all this out right here, and then that way when it's time to dig the tree out from the bottom, you know, it's a lot easier to work at chopping off the bottom and pulling it out. But since I got all these trees, cherimoya to the right, Pakistan mulberry to the left, and then a fence, of course, I can't really do a whole lot. So I'm just gonna add water to soften it up and then slowly try and chop off the bottom. All I'm doing right here is using the stick and the shovel to sort of chip away or dig underneath the tree, and you know, little by little it'll work. So let's see, as I push down on the shovel and then slightly to the side, you can see it tearing or separating itself from the other side. The way it is now, I can't just pull this up. I mean, if I was strong enough, or you know, whatever, I could easily just hug the roots with the dirt and pick it up, but it's gonna be too heavy. If dirt does break off, most likely it's gonna break off some of the roots with it. So maybe I may just chip away at it or wash it off. I don't know. The only reason why I'm adding dirt back into the hole is so that as the plant rises, the dirt will fill up the hole and it should push the tree out or prevent the tree from falling back in. Alright, so quick problem or issue that I ran into is that as I'm pushing this up, there's like a big crack right here. And what could happen is, if this keeps going, because it's too heavy, it may just take a bunch of roots with it. So I'm gonna chop at this, see if I can help it out, because I am trying to I guess, cause as little shock or damage as possible. It looks like it didn't have a big root system at all. So my mistake, because you know, it was one, I guess, one of the early trees I planted, or one that I was just like, oh, let me just get rid of it because I don't want it in a pot. But I might have buried it too deep. See, that's where it was, you can tell. But there's no roots right here. The root system is a little bit more to the bottom. So I'm just gonna wash this off in order to prevent these big chunks of dirt from taking what little root system it does have. And then I'm just gonna chop it up, probably from right here. Why? Because if I allow it to keep all its leaves up there, it may just start dying. So yeah, this is turning out a bit different than what I had originally expected. All right, so now this I should be able to carry no problem. As you can see, it's pretty small, or the root system's pretty small. Definitely not what I was expecting. So I was gonna carry that over and plant it right there. Now the reason why I'm throwing like little pieces at a time is that if I throw something big like this, it's just going to push everything down. But if I throw little bits of like this, the dirt will sort of, I don't want to say crumble, but it'll fall into place a bit better. Simply by watering it, all the dirt, the soil should fall into place a bit better, you know, to fill in all the cracks and everything. Just throw that there. See, so as I push the dirt in, you'll see bubbles coming up. On a completely different side note, I just remembered today is Father's Day. So to all you dads out there, happy Father's Day. All right, so I think I'm gonna call it a day. So it is pretty big. I think I am gonna cut it, because if I don't, it may just stress out the tree too much. So cut it, seal it, and then the mission is gonna be moving this to the shade. That way the sun doesn't cook it. Hopefully it all works out. It should, but you never know. Thanks everyone.